Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Blank Pages. Today, I would like to open up by sharing that as this new book is starting in chapter two, I have purchased a tiny home in a tiny home community up in Jasper, Alabama, and it's called Prestige Tiny Home Community. So now I'm going through the emotional and the stress of packing. Now, packing, I feel like is different when you're 46 than when you're 26, 36, because it isn't just about finding enough things to wrap, like bubble wrap, paper, tissue to wrap things. It's about doing the inventory of your life. Now, when I started Blank Pages, I realized very quickly that I can't take everything. I can't really take everything that I want. There's not room. Now, in my case, a suitcase isn't big enough. Um, and it's also not totes. So I have 11 totes that I have to go through, and I've narrowed it down. I will say that I want to talk about what relates to pack, the relationship of packing and moving on and really starting the life over and how we can decide what's worth keeping and what's not worth keeping. Now, the thing is memories are always going to go with you. You'll always have your memories. Maybe if you don't want to take it, you take a picture of it. Um, it might rem and the reason you might not want to take it is because it's you don't have room for it, but you have room for it in your memory. A picture that you have in your mind, or if you take with your cell phone, can last decades and decades. Whereas if you take the object, it may get broken and you have to throw it out anyway. Now, I hate to say this, but it also can remind you of people. As you were packing, as you were getting ready, and as I am getting ready to move, I'm packing up those people that I want in my life and those people that I don't want in my life. Those people that are worth having in my life and those people that are not worth having in my life. Now, it's very, very hard to really, I say get rid of people, but again, if they've not spoken to you in years, it is a one-way street and they only speak with you when they need something, but they can't help you when you need something. Is that person worth keeping? Now, there will be emotions, and I'm not going to try to say that I'm not been emotional. But there will be. There's still going to be that old identity until you are able to really, really replace that identity. You're going to think about the people that were in your old life. You're going to think about the people because you're going to think about the good memories, but you're also going to think about the bad memories. But there's always truth in learning. There's truth in pain. There's truth in really figuring out your worth and if they're worth it being there. Now, you can't write a new story if your hands are full of the old one. So I want you to really take inventory, not only of physical things, not only things that you have in your mind, but also people. Look at the things and the people in your life, and you're going to have to get rid of the old stuff in order to make room for the new. Now, packing, it really is something that we have to decide. Now, when you look at something or look at someone, you have to say, is this coming with me because I love it? Or is this coming, are they coming with me because I'm afraid to let go? Is this coming with me because I love to look at it because it has such great memories? Or is it coming with me because I don't want to let go? I'm scared. I'm afraid to let go of the past. I'm afraid to embrace it. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't have to have these conversations myself because I do, and I have been, and will continue to over the next couple of days and weeks as I move. But I think it's worth asking. I think it's worth being truthful with yourself. And this is what's going to come with these blank pages. You don't have to take the things that you're afraid to let go because you're going to have new things to replace it when you get there. Now, there can be a strange kind of peace when you look at an empty box. And it's somewhat like my walls that are shiplap. It's a clean slate. Everything's clean. Everything. There's nothing in that box. The shiplap is white and very clean, prestige. Now, as you start looking at this chapter two, I'm being somewhat ruthless because if if the thing or the person doesn't fit who I am today and who it values and if they value you and if it gives you value and if it gives you a connection to the new person, don't put it in the box. Don't put those people in the box. That goes through your mind. If that person is not bringing you value, if they're not bringing you peace, if they're not really bringing you comfort, and even comfort, that's a really scary word because comfort could be something that you're afraid to get rid of. But connection, valuability, a two-way street. Don't let that person take up your empty box physically and mentally. Let that go. And I think it's going to be a way that both myself and you are going to be able to really make way for that future, for the things that we are going to do within the move, whether it's a physical move, a mental move, a psychological move. But I'm actually moving physically, but maybe you're not. Maybe you're just ready to move on. And that's okay. You love your area, you're actually where you are, you're moving on. But do the inventory. Look at the empty box. Look at that clean slate. Look at those people who have been in your life, who add to it, who add value to it, and those that you're keeping because you're afraid to let them go. That could be family, that could be friends you've had for 20 or 30 years. In the long run, we want to make sure that we're adding value to our lives. And maybe you don't cut them out completely, but you do have boundaries. You do not allow them to affect you. For example, I will say that my brother, I I don't I mean I can't have him taking up places in my mind when I do all the calling, all the texting, and he never reaches out to me to tell me exciting news or anything. So I have to decide whether to let him go in the empty box or keep him as a family outside the box, but a person that I have to somewhat relate to, but not allow that person to have authority over me. And to realize that the street and the phones go both ways. So, whenever you're thinking, when you're packing, there's some people that you may not be able to totally remove, but there are boundaries that you can set. And I think with this move, you're setting the boundaries. Now, I want to ask you if you were packing a single box for your next chapter in the book, and you only had room for one thing that represents the new you, what would it be? So I'll ask that again. So if you were packing to move, whether physically, mentally, psychologically, whatever it is, and if you only have one box and you only had room for one thing, And that thing really is going to represent you, the new you. What would that be? As I thought about it, and I'm still thinking, so I don't really know. I've been thinking about this question for myself, and to be honest, I don't know. I mean, it's very hard to just have one thing that I would take, but, and I guess as one thing could be, maybe one thing as in pets, or one thing is in dishes. It could be that is how I'm looking at it. So what I would take are my two dogs, and I will be taking my two dogs. If I can only take one thing, the thing would be my pets. One, because they're loyal, and two, because there's not a one-way street. I can go to them and pet them, but they also come to me. They also come to me when they want to be pet or when we just want to go walking, but they also have unconditional love. And I think that something that need to value is that we have to be loved. We have to feel the love. So as we continue to move forward, as we continue to write our book, please drop me a comment and let's help each other find what's worth carrying on. And with that, I will see you in chapter 3.